Okay, welcome to the OneWorld mod tutorial. This is your interface. You've got a couple of bags and some boards on it. Leave them alone. Don't touch them. Don't ever touch those bags. Same goes for these two. Just don't do it. Leave them alone. They make up your world and you create the world using the interface. So first you want to initialize your interface, and then you want to lock it. So give it a second and then lock, and then your bags disappear, they go into the interface, and everything is created based on what you've created previously. We'll get into creating stuff later on, but first I'll show you what I've made. So we've got a bunch of links that link to places. If I build our map, building just puts objects onto the map that you've loaded. I'll show you what we've got. So the fog of war is on at the moment. I'll turn that off. And so what we have here is a bunch of different places that you can visit that I've stuck on the map. I haven't got them all on there. There's quite a few links up the top that I haven't done yet, but they've all got different names and places. So these are places that your characters can visit. So they can start off running around the world, visiting places, and you can use your grid to calculate how far they can travel. I think each square is probably about 18 miles, which is about a day's travel time if they're traveling slowly. I think they travel 24 miles in a day normally, and something like 30 if they're traveling fast. So a few days get you to here, moving at a reasonable pace, and you can enter this camp. So once you do that, it's just a simple matter of clicking on the link that they've gone to. So if you click on a link, where are we? This one. So you can click on the link. You can either click this side box or you can click the link twice. It doesn't matter. And that will bring up the base map. Now, our character's still there, so we'll just move her off to the side. Now, you always want to make sure your fog of war's on and reset before you load up a map. No, I'm not lined up. Okay, so fog of war is on. We'll make sure that it's big enough for any trees that come on the map. And then that's us. We've got our fog of war. The player characters can see a little bit because they're standing next to it, but that's fine. And then we build. And once you build, it will load everything that you've packed into your map. So whether you have monsters on there or not will depend on whether or not you've packed your map with monsters. Otherwise, it might be an empty map and you need to drop monsters onto it. Either when your characters reach a certain location that you've anticipated there will be monsters, or you can do it while the fog of war is on, maybe. I'm not sure. We'll have to look at that. But here's our map. It's loaded. The fog of war is on. The reason we can see it is because we are the game master. If we change to a color, we're now old mate over here. There's a few trees and shrubs and things that show through it just because I haven't changed the settings on them. I don't think that matters too much. This is more about enemies and landscape, really. So here's our little player character unlocking the fog of war, comes across a tower. Ooh, moving along its little group pace, and then having an encounter somewhere here along the road. Doesn't matter what they do or how they do it, that's how we do it. And then as soon as we want to move to another location, it's as simple as, you being the game master of course, it's as simple as clicking on one of these links to take you out of the map. So this will take you back to the base map, or that might take you into a dungeon, doesn't matter. So once we've done that, we're back to our base map. We can build our base map again, and that gives up all our big towns and objects, and we can basically have our characters. You can even have a fog of war on this, so they may not be able to see all these different places. They may have to move along, and you can always just put the reveal range down so that as they move along they discover things. Ooh, there's a town. Ooh, there's a town. Ooh, there's a town. Of course, I'm not in the characters player, but see, that's how we do. So that's basically it. So once you get to the cave, you, as the game master, again, of course you won't have to do all this switching when players are actually playing, you click on your town, and then you just either double click or click that. It loads up your little map, and then you press build. It's as simple as that. Your prepping will only come down to repacking these maps with whatever enemies or anything you want to put on them. That's if you decide not to just drop enemies in on a situation, which I think is probably a better setting. That's right, I have to change the settings on that house. So basically our little character dude can go wherever they want, be whoever they want to be. I'll go back to the character. So, you know, find stuff, talk to people, whatever you want. The world's there, it's built for them. So yeah, it's as simple as just building your world. Now, when you pack a world, so if I leave that character there, and I pack it, that means that anything I've placed in that world will pack into that world. So our little character is gone. And then the next time I reload that world, so if I go back to our world, so it was Safe Harbor, and I build it, our little character will still be there. So that's how you prep the zone for enemies, essentially. Wait for it to load, there we go. So that's how you prep the zone for enemies. So if that was an enemy, he'd still be sitting there. And he would be under the fog of war if you didn't have the fog of war designated for him. So like this dude here. He's just an NPC that I stuck there, and he's disappeared until you actually find him. So that's how you use this in a nutshell. Once you're done with it, you pull your little character out. Everyone pulls their characters off the board, and you can either go to the next place, or you can clear it. And once cleared, that's right, I'm not the game master. No wonder why I can't see any of the places or towns or links. And once that's cleared, you can just move on to the next town. Easy as that.